So today I'm going to talk about yin and yang energies. So light and dark, male and female, internal, external, and how we can find the balance in a world that seems to want to push us into an extreme position. And so, as always, I see everything through the lens of tarot. So let's use tarot to explore how to do that. Now, tarot starts off with a brilliant premise. It starts off with duality. Here we have the perfect expression of internal and external. We have the Fool and the Magician. So the Fool being potential energy and the Magician as kinetic energy. The Fool is the internal expression, pure potential, nothing yet expressed. And the Magician is external energy, kinetic energy, energy in action. So that starts us off for the whole of our tarot journey, and that sets the scene for other aspects of duality that we are being asked to bring into balance. And every time we meet one of these pairs of cards that asks us to lean into the duality conversation, it asks us to find the connected balance between the two. So let's stay with the major arcana. As we move into the first 5 cards from the High Priestess to the Lovers, we can see immediately we're confronted with more expressions of yin and yang, more expressions of male and female. So let's have a look at the Empress and the Emperor, the mother and the father, the archetypal male and female. So we're looking at the Empress as being all of that lusciousness, our internal creative process, the boundless nature of things, our nature, and it's all internally based. And then we come to the Emperor, and that is restriction on nature. So it's restriction on emotion, it's rules, it's regulation, none of that boundlessness that we get with the Empress card. But it's absolutely necessary, because if we just stay in that sort of lovely warm womb of creativity without any self-discipline, without any structure, without any feeling of how we're going to make anything work in the real world, the Emperor tells us that that is how we make it real, by regulating it. The Empress is unregulated. She is boundless. She's unconditional love. The Emperor is very much conditional love. Now, it's really important at this point to say, this is not a comment on gender. This is not a comment on the female energy is so lovely and boundless and unconditionally loving and just all of the good things, And the Emperor being male is kind of toxic masculinity. No, it's not that. It's about the two sides of the same coin. It's just energy. That's all we're talking about. We term it male and female just because one is receptive, one is proactive, and they're both equally as important. Yin and yang tells us that. It tells us there has to be harmony and balance. If we look at the yin and yang symbols, they are curled within each other. They're not fighting for supremacy. They're just creating the balance that is necessary to get things done, to make things work. Now we can also look at the next set of pairs, which is the High Priestess and the Hierophant. They're definitely duality. The High Priestess is spirituality within, it's self-knowledge, it is all internal. Our connection with the energetic world from an internal perspective. All of our wisdom, all of our arcane knowledge, all of our self-knowledge of our light and our dark inherent in the High Priestess is all expressed internally. And it's that internal expression that connects to the energetic world. Now, when we look at the Hierophant, we can see that it's externally focused. We're focused on the rules of what maybe the religion that we follow are. We're told what we should believe. We're told what we need to believe in order to get the wisdom that is out there, not in here. And it is through connecting externally that we will therefore gain that wisdom. And whichever one we may choose to believe will show up in the expression of our faith. And again, a balance between them both is good, because there is wisdom in the outer world. There is wisdom. Not all organized religion is bad. Some of it is for sure, but some of it isn't. There is some amazing wisdom externally. And so we can learn from both. We can apply both. We have a balance. So if we come down into the next section of the major arcana, which is ruled by the suit of wands, we can see the chariot and strength side by side. The chariot as an external expression of will, kind of like the emperor in motion, right? We are goal setting. We're looking down the road and we are not going to be pulled off our path by anyone. And then we marry that up against strength, which is internal, the internal expression of will. Both of them are prepared to endure some discomfort. Both of them are goal-based, because when we look at the strength card, we can see that the figure is aligned. He's aligned to that he wants to create. He's aligned for a purpose. He's not being strong for the sake of it. And the chariot is not being driven for the sake of it, because that's no good to anyone. But what they are is they're an expression of will, one expressed internally, one expressed externally, to get things done. It's wands to get things done. Now, if we come down into the next section, which is ruled by the suit of swords, we haven't got such an obvious duality, but the duality is expressed in one card. And if we look at the temperance card, we can see two vessels pouring both black and white liquid into a scientific jar. And what that tells us is it is the balance between our feeling and our logical mind which creates the right balance. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the right mix, the right balance. Now, you may think that your feeling side and your logical mind are diametrically opposed. They're not. This card is asking you to find the balance between the two, to find the true position, and not to go into extremes. And that's really important, not to go into extremes of thinking, but to balance it with what your true feelings are. So it's asking us to maintain balance. And then as we come down into the final section from the suit of pentacles, we've got the sun and the moon. They are the archetypal elements of light and dark. The moon speaks to us of fear and restriction, and the sun speaks to us of joy and liberation. The moon is definitely the shadow that keeps us stuck, and the sun is the light in which we can see everything that we need to see. Nothing is hidden in the moon. All is hidden. We can't see clearly. They are absolutely diametrically opposed, and we have to balance. We have to balance our fear against our joy. We cannot let us just dwell in this shadowland of fear, but also we can't always live in a place of unutterable joy. I mean, maybe the truly enlightened ones can, but for us humans, it's a little bit more of a challenge. So we can't live in a place of perpetual joy, but neither can we live in a place of perpetual fear. We have to find the middle ground. We have to find the link between them. We have to find the temperance of all things. And temperance is the key here. No extremes. And I think that's really, really important. How do we find the place to be in a world of duality? We find a place to be by not allowing ourselves to be pulled into extreme positions, to find the right balance. There are compromises that need to be made. And if we can find the sweet spot in the compromise, if we can find the sweet spot in the balance, in the mix, in the Tarot Thoth deck, temperance is called art. And that's because we're creating something beautiful with the right mix of colours and ingredients. And in our lives, we're looking for the right mix to create what we want to create. And in the Life Code deck, we're looking at it as a scientific experiment. We're looking at it as a sort of alchemy, because we want to create something larger than the sum of its parts. And we do that by finding the right mix. So we don't go too far that way, and we don't go too far that way. We have to find the right mix for us. And that's the most important part. So that's my take on the idea of duality. And of course, Tarot starts us off beyond the Fool and the Magician with the High Priestess. She starts us off in the temple with that light and that dark pillar, and everything is supported by the shadow and the light. Unless you have knowledge of the shadow, you will have no knowledge of the light. We need the two. We need to be able to compare the two so that we can find the right position for us, so we know how we feel. So I hope that's been interesting. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you like my channel, please do like and subscribe, and also leave me a message. What do you think about light and dark, and what's your take on it, on the yin and yang and male and female and the duality of things? I'd like to know what you think too. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.